Well, it is Monday night and it is time for a Song of Ice and Fire book club. This is a stream by the Crossroads. Welcome all. If you are new to the channel, this is not one of my streams where we just bitch. We actually are doing our book club and we're on a Clash of Kings. So if you are a fan of Game of Thrones and hate how it ended, well, guess what? The true story hasn't ended yet. So follow us on our journey as we go through chapter by chapter, doing summaries and breakdowns. Let me introduce my amazing panel, though. Directly below me, I hope she can hear me, not robotic right now. We've been having some issues.
You said below me.
Lady Tauriel, how are you? That's good. Are we robotic, Lady Tauriel? Domo. Okay, we'll come back to you. And the beautiful, one of my regular Monday nighters, Miss Martin Muses. How are you?
I am absolutely fantastic. Living in a winter wonderland.
Are you not used to a winter wonderland? I love it. I love
it's
you.
Great. You see, I'm antisocial deep down.
Right.
I hate people. So it's marvelous. They're like, you have to stay indoors. And I'm like, yes.
Maybe that's why I love the winter so much. Like everyone, I'm in New England and everybody's like, I can't stand the winters. And I'm like, you're from New England. Like we grew up with this. Like I love snow. I love the cold. Like I hate sweating. So like for me,
I like sweating.
Oh, I can't stand it. This is the best time of year. Best time of year. I'm going to go off camera, hopefully, so I don't have to actually plug in and get rid of my microphone. Oh, that's
and I have to go to work. So
no, but we can hear you clearly. Hello, Lady Tauriel. How are you?
Well, it's not snowing right now, so that's good, and hopefully the roads stay good tonight so I can get to work.
Oh, I pray for that too. We just want to make sure you're safe. And the other beautiful lady on the panel just joining us, Jayne Theory. How are you?
Hey, doing great. How are you guys?
We are fantastic. Just getting ready to go. And finally, he is, I believe, the one true king, no matter what his brother Renly says. It's Stig Kenobi.
I had to warn Renly twice.
I almost just spit my coffee out.
Anyway, Stannis Baratheon, Lord of Dragonstone, Master of Ships, King of Westeros, Lord of Storm's End, King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms, Protector of the Realm. All who deny that are my foes. Let no man claim ignorance as a defense. They'll bend the knee, or I'll destroy them.
He's the king of the north. I was waiting for, isn't that right?
Isn't that right, said Davos?
Yes, very so. He's the king of the north. All right. And my name is Scott, and this is Sporky News Podcast. If you just stumbled upon us, I put some pretty good tags in there, so hopefully you did. Let's check out and see who is in our chat tonight. As always, one of our first every time, Tina Bojan. Good evening, friends. Tina was on a members only with the author this morning, and she said some really nice stuff about our fandom, which, you know,
was she drunk?
You know what? I don't know. She could have been, or maybe doing a little, Grandpa's tobacco, if you know what I mean, the wacky one.
Old Toby.
Boone's Farm. I don't know if you guys ever had that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, old school. But Tina said some lovely stuff about our fandom, how everybody makes people feel inclusive. And I like that. At least on my channel, I know that I try to make everybody feel welcome. So I appreciate that. The beautiful Lady Tauriel, of course, Machini90, who is the king mod right now. And I appreciate everything he does for my channel. The Time Prophet. Hiya, buddy. Sonny Frank, who has not been at one of our live ones in a while. So it's awesome to see Sonny, one of my original A Song of Ice and Fire friends there who would follow us early on when we've just started our Game of Thrones stuff. We also have Joachim Stark. Clip that. Yeah, no, please don't. Please don't. That is a great name, though. Joachim Stark. Welcome to the chat.
It's a Scandinavian name.
Is it really?
Yeah, Joachim.
Wait, say that one more time.
Joachim.
Joachim Stark. Winter is here. You are absolutely correct. And the Time Prophet wants to make sure you say what?
Bastard.
There you go.
Yeah.
We got Runner in the house. I won't tell Runner to shut up, even though everybody else does for some reason. Bone is here. Bone says, hello, humans. And, Swedish. Swedish. Uh-oh. The Norwegian might not like that. Let's get to it, though, guys. We got a couple great chapters tonight. We are doing Brann 2. No, I'm sorry. Brann 3. Catelyn 2. And Jon 3. Really good, strong chapters, I think, for this book. What do you guys think? Just a general idea. Lady Tauriel, what do you think about these chapters?
Oh, I love these chapters. They are very informative in a lot of ways, a lot of hints, shall we say.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. It's going to be hard. So for people that are new here, we really try hard not to spoil anything past the chapter we're working on. So you could talk about anything from a Game of Thrones. Really, you could talk about anything in this book, but we as panelists try not to go past the chapters. Miss Martin Muses is a first-time through reader. There's people in the chat that are first-time readers. Some people that haven't even read it. They just enjoy listening to this. So if you are going to say something, please put spoiler in the chat, because these are, like Lady Tauriel said, these 3 chapters have a lot of hints at what's going to happen later on in the series. Jayne, what do you think about these 3 chapters?
It's always a difficult question because you go into it with the expectation that, let's say, the last 3 chapters were great, right? And you don't know, or you don't realize initially, just how much better the next chapters are going to be.
Right.
So it's difficult. It's like, what do I think of them? I think they're fantastic in setting up what's to come.
Right. I agree. What do you think, Teresa?
Oh, well, what she said, of course, but
Are you sliding in the snow? It sounded like you were sliding. Are you out there in the snow right now having fun?
No, I don't believe in fun. What are you talking about? Well, I have been eating yogurt. I apologize. So if it was my voice, I don't know. But I'll tell you what.
Did the yogurt have a burger and a Snickers bar in it? Asking for a friend.
No, he doesn't like the way I drink coffee. And it's not with a burger. I put flavors in my coffee.
Oh, he wouldn't like how I drink my morning coffee then. I do a bulletproof coffee. I have blender, coconut oil, stevia.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah. I blend butter, coconut oil, stevia, a dash of cream, and that's about it in my coffee in the morning because
pardon my English, but for fuck's sake,
try it. Now so you probably don't do stevia, but if you try it with a dash of sugar, it is the creamiest, most delicious coffee you'll ever have.
You're on a keto diet.
Yes, I am. You? Yep. And this is, we're going off topic for a second. Keto, when I started keto 2 years ago, I was on about 9 different medications. I'm a type 2 diabetic, high blood pressure, cholesterol. I am on 1 med now. No longer considered really I am a diabetic, but no longer worried about it. It's managed through diet. My blood pressure's down. My cholesterol levels are perfect. So keto, I will represent.
Isn't that, you mostly just eat meat?
Yes, meat, veggies. But nowadays it's a lot different because you have like coconut flour or almond flour. So you could do a lot of the traditional meals that are normally carb filled, but do it with a fraction of the carbs. So yeah, I mean, completely off topic,
So
but
you're not carbonated anymore.
Not carbonated. But I'm sorry to take that from you, Teresa. You were saying though.
It's okay, and I never want to hear Stig ever give me crap again after you said what you put in your coffee. That's all I gotta say. But I just have like peppermint flavored, and allegedly that's terrible. But back on topic.
I have a message for the red woman.
Topic.
The good does not wipe out the bad, Sedalis.
Oh shit! My fingers are gonna get chopped.
Fingers gonna be chopped. Well, I liked these chapters a lot, especially because we were introduced to some very important characters, and the whole thing with Castor or Craster or whatever the hell his name is, and it's Gilly and really good stuff with them. And we first got to meet that little boy. With Brann, the one who like sees
the
things
Reeds
in the future. Yes, they're so I know that it was very pivotal, it was very important. And then we got our introduction to Brienne of Tarth.
Right. Man, these are some great. So oh my god, I didn't even think about it because we always try to find the link in the 3 different chapters. We get introduced to 3. Maybe not, they're not A-list, we'll say, but they are the next tier down and very important characters each chapter for these 3. And John, we get Craster, we get the Reeds and Brann, and we get Brienne. You're absolutely right. Wow, very good point. I like.
What's I noticed something in the chapter stuff.
Yeah.
On the wiki page, the synopsis are way shorter now for all the chapters. Almost. They're like really short.
He said, "Thank God."
Yeah,
thank God. Yeah, because I'm sorry. We were talking about it. A couple of those last chapters was like reading the book. People do seem to enjoy it, but I'd rather talk about it than reread it and like actually pull it from the book because I have the book open right now. But now let me ask you a question, Stig. You are big A Song of Ice and Fire fan. Where do you rank this book in the hierarchy of the 5 books we have so far?
I'm not sure how to rank them though, because they're all one continuing story, right?
Yeah, true.
But I think book 1, 2, and 3 are pretty damn perfect. Book 4 takes a bit of a dive because you only have half the cast, so it's a bit of a weird book.
Yeah.
And I think book 5 is back to normal again, right?
Yeah. I feel like if you did book 4 and 5 the way it should have been, putting them together with all the characters, and kind of go 2 books chronologically, I think it would have been really good. I mean, they're really good no matter what, right?
Oh yeah.
God, I love this series.
You know what? George Martin keeps getting accused of killing off main characters left and right and stuff. But if you think about it, he's only just killed a couple.
Yeah.
I mean, he killed Ned. And other than that,
at the moment,
he's off some supporting characters here and there. But
really, though, if you think about it, where we're at in the book right now, it's Ned and Robert. That's it.
Drogo and Viserys, but they weren't main characters.
No. And I wouldn't even say Robert was, right?
No, he was a secondary. Yeah, really. The main one is only himself, Ned, and until we have a white wedding, but a different color.
To be fair, though, the ones that die at a wedding aren't even main characters.
One is.
Well,
she's the person's a POV. The person's a POV. So
slap your hand.
I know. I know. I get one mulligan.
It's like, that person shows up later anyway.
Yeah, that's true. And then but the killing of Ned Stark was one of the most dramatic moments in a book I've ever read. When you think he is going to be, because don't forget, I didn't start in 1996. I started in like 2007 or 8, maybe 9. So there was already a group of books out. There was 4 books already out. So when I read that Ned died, I was just like, holy crap. Like, I assumed he would have been in the next 4 books. You know what I mean? So like the power in who he kills really catches you off guard when it happens.
Just yeah.
Right.
And maybe that's why it
as-
seems like more, because it's so dramatic and traumatic.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you can ask Stig that, or Stannis, shall I say, in this incarnation, that yeah, I really liked Ned, and he kept going. He just didn't say anything, because
Right.
it was when I first started, and he went, well, and that was it.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's-
then when that
Go ahead.
thing in book 3 happened, I
Yes.
remember getting a message from the elf saying, "You knew."
It's so dramatic when those 2 events happen. You don't
Mhm.
expect it. You know, you expect, okay, Ned's going to take the black. He's going to go north. Him and Jon are going to go on some, White Walker mission. Hell no. I mean, there is a lot that happens in these books that are pretty impressive. If you're new here, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe. This is, again, our Song of Ice and Fire. It's different than our usual streams and content here. But you know what? I do what I love. So, and these guys love it too.
Just as a little side note.
Yep.
For those of you that love these books and the way George Martin writes and all that, Joe Abercrombie is, I think, the closest thing you'll get to George Martin.
I know you
'Cause
always tell me.
Yeah. He doesn't write the big epic scale though. So
Right.
it's not like thousands of plot lines, but it's the same language and every character is fucked up in some way. And yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've been reading his new book right now, and I was like, shit, this is pretty close to George Martin.
right. All right. So, am I taking the first one, or is somebody taking Brann?
I forget who was taking Brann. I'm taking Cat.
Okay,
Who's doing Brann?
I'm doing. Oh God, he's only 8. Come on. You got Jon, right? Stig.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I will do Brann. Hopefully, I don't go robotic, even though I'm reading it from my phone, which is the weirdest thing that
And
happens.
the 3 women can have a bikini fight over Catelyn.
We're
A bikini fight,
We're
eh?
getting canceled. Yeah, right. All right. So, Brann 3. Brann rides his horse Dancer into the great hall of Winterfell for the harvest feast. He wishes summer was with him, but Sir Roderick was unyielding. From the crowded benches, men shout "Stark" and "Winterfell" as he passes. Brann knows they are cheering for the harvest, for victory, and for all the Starks who came before rather than him. But he still swells with pride and even forgets he is broken until he reaches the dais. There, Osha and Hodor unstrap him and carry him to the high seat. Sir Roderick, his daughter Beth, and Maester Lewin are seated to Brann's left and Rickon to his right, his hair uncut since their mother left because he bit the last girl to try. After Sir Roderick bellows for quiet, Brann welcomes the guests and asks them to thank the gods for Robb's victories and the bountiful harvest. His toast of "May there be 100 more" brings an echoing cheer, and Sir Roderick says his father would be proud. They feast on course after course, including seafood brought by Lord Wyman Manderley from White Harbor. Manderley has also brought musicians, but only Hodor seems to be listening, and the songs are drowned beneath the talk and laughter. Sir Roderick and Maester Lewin talk over Beth's head, while Rickon screams happily with Little Walder and Big Walder. Brann did not want the Walders at the high table, but Maester Lewin reminds him they would become kin when Robb weds one of their aunts, and Arya marries their uncle Elmar Frey. I was going to say Elmer Fudd. Though Brann argued Arya would never stand for that. Each dish is served to Brann first, and soon he is full and must nod approval rather than taste everything. As instructed, he sends particular delicious dishes to lords as a gesture of friendship. Salmon to sad Lady Danella Hornwood, boar to Moors in Hothor Umber, goose and berries to Clay Kerwin, lobster to Joseph, the master of horse for training dancer, sweets to Hodor and Old Nan because he loves them, and beets and turnip to the Walders because Sir Roderick insists he gives them something. Brann watches the feast detachedly, seeing everything yet a part of nothing. He sees Osha break a flagon over the head of a tall heart man for sliding his hand under her skirts, though another woman does not seem to mind Micken's hand down her bodice. He watches bodice. Okay. Is that like her bra?
Yeah, he's groping her boobs.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's why it's called bodice ripping.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, see, we're learning. He watches Farland make his red bitch bag and Old Nan pluck at the crust of a hot pie. On the dais, he sees Lord Manderley attacking a plate of lampreys in his special wide chair. Sad Lady Hornwood picking listlessly at her food she should really eat, and the Umber brothers playing a drinking game. The heat and noise soon grow too much, and Brann finds himself dreaming of the cool of the Godswood. Studying his father's ornate goblet, Brann recalls the welcoming feast for King Robert and realizes everyone else is gone, either to war, captivity, the wall, or their graves. Even the men at the table are new, since everyone who went south with his father is dead and the rest rode to war with Robb. When he wonders who will be missing next year and year after, Brann feels like crying, but reminds himself he is the Stark in Winterfell, almost a man grown. The door to the hall opens and Albelly leads in two new guests, Mira and Jojen Reed of Greywater Watch. Brann recognizes them as Crannogmen from the Neck, a shy and simple folk who rarely leave their swamps. But he hears Little Walder calling them mudmen and explaining to Rickon that they are thieves and cravens with green teeth from eating frogs. As places are hurriedly prepared on the dais, Sir Roderick explains that these must be the children of Hallenreed, a great friend and staunch companion of Brann's father during Robert's rebellion. The slender girl Mira is armed with a woven net, bronze knife, frog spear, as well as an iron helm, leather shield, and bronze scaled jerkin. Her younger brother, Jojen, is unarmed and dressed in all green, which brings out the deep green of his eyes. Kneeling before the dais, the Reeds explain that they have come to renew House Reed's fealty to the king in the north. Brann explains that Robb is away fighting, but says they may say their words to him. Together, the Reeds recite their ancient oath, swearing by earth and water, by bronze and iron, and by ice and fire, never to fail the Stark of Winterfell. Unsure how to respond, Brann finally decides on "May your winter be short and your summers bountiful," and bids them rise. Mira offers gifts of fish, frog, and fowl, and Brann offers them meat and mead of Winterfell in return. Jojen immediately asks where the direwolves are, and Rickon answers that they are in the Godswood because Shaggy Dog was bad. When Mira says that Jojen would like to see them, Little Walder warns that they will bite. Pleased by the Reed's interest, Brann promises that Summer at least will not bite and will keep Shaggy Dog away. He cannot recall ever meeting a Crannogman and would like to talk more, but the feast is too noisy. When he learns from Sir Roderick that they truly eat frogs, Brann sends the Reeds mutton. What is that? A roach, whatever, beef stew, which they seem to like. When Mira catches him staring, Brann blushes. After the tables are cleared away, the music and singing grow wilder. Morzumber grabs a passing serving girl and begins whirling her about the floor. Others soon join in. Hodor dances by himself, while Wylan Manderley and Clay Kerwin partner with little Beth Cassell. Sir Roderick approaches Lady Hornwood, but she excuses herself. Once again, unable to participate, Brann watches long enough to be polite, then calls Hodor to carry him to bed, conscious of the stares of onlookers. Just outside the hall, they come upon Joseph and giggling women with her skirt above her waist. The girl screams when she sees Hodor watching, so Brann has to tell him to leave them be. After getting help with his boots and breeches, Brann dismisses Hodor and lies down to sleep. Then he recalls his father telling him the Kingsguard were once a shining example, and the finest knights he ever saw was Sir Arthur Dane, who would have killed him but for Howland Reed. His father became sad at that and spoke no further. But now Brann wishes he had asked what he meant. Brann goes to sleep thinking of knights, but his dreams are of wolves in the Godswood again, and he can hear and smell the feast still going on. At the rattle of iron, he and his brother race to confront the strange intruders, a female and young male with no taint of fear. Brann recognized Mira's voice when she asks if Jojen knew the wolves would be so big. Jojen points out they are still growing and opines that Shaggy Dog is full of fear and rage, but Summer is stronger than he knows. Mira cautions her brother, but Jojen insists this is not the day he dies and reaches out to touch Summer. At his touch, Brann loses contact and suddenly feels he is falling again. Dun, dun, dun.
The Aurochs are
Aurochs, thank you.
Yeah, the shaggy-haired cattle.
Oh, okay.
That once dwelled in the majority of Westeros, but because of hunting and domestication, they have dwindled in the wild and are not often seen. They're near, the King's Road, Green Fork, Trident, Riverlands, and they still dwell beyond the wall.
Okay.
Where the free folk employ them to drag sledges.
Wow. This I did not know. See? I love that.
I just clicked the link. Just a link for the...
Right. There's actually a link for it. It glows blue, people. Glows blue. Hopefully I wasn't too robotic. But there is so much going on in this chapter. Who would like to start?
Oh,
Go for it, Teresa.
The whole mystical thing going on with that little boy and Brann, and I was really stuck with, he's like, it's okay, I'm not gonna die today, and I'm just like, dude. So
right.
Obviously he can see into the future or something to that effect, or maybe even has a prophecy of his death. I honestly don't know, because the TV show doesn't count because it didn't make any sense. But with that whole plot line, but that struck me. And it may sound like a really small detail, but when they were talking about little Rickon and how wild he is at this point, that his hair is all long and crazy, and he won't let anyone cut it or anything, and that he sounds like he's turning into a little caveman.
Right. And these are the moments where I go, Catelyn, your son's a king. Go home.
Mm-hmm.
Go home. A 3-year-old. He's 3. The show made him older. He's 3. Brann is 8 years old, being the Stark in Winterfell, which is awesome that we hear that. A Stark in Winterfell.
Yeah.
Powerful thing in this story is there always needs to be a Stark in Winterfell. What about you, Jayne?
Well, it stood out to the whole idea of Rickon, and we've been really concerned about him this entire time, and his behavior. But the fact that Shaggy Dog is sort of reflecting that still, because we've seen examples of that throughout the story too. This fear and rage that he has seems to be because that's how Rickon is also feeling, perhaps.
Right.
And he's just sort of reflecting that, and it just shows you too the turmoil that this child is going through. and that it's turning to anger. It was sort of fear and he was wanting to leave, and now it's rage.
Right.
So
And
you
the
kinda
connection,
almost
right?
Yeah, right, and if this does in fact reflect Rickon, you can imagine what he's going to be like if this continues.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the extreme that he could go to.
Right.
And then of course Summer being stronger than he knows and sort of indirectly talking about Brann, I think.
Right. Right.
And then when he touches him and he loses contact with him, that was, again, just another example of this connection between these Stark kids and their wolves and the supernatural
Right.
connection that they have with them. I one of the other things too that stood out to me when reading their entrance into the hall,
Mm-hmm.
I I don't remember if that was in the show or not,
No.
but it wasn't. That's the scene, like how I picture it in my head is how I would want to see it depicted at some point. I don't care if it's a film or what, but it just
Right.
seems like it would be so freaking cool that
That
these people come in who look so different and they're dressed so different, and
right. With a
it would just
net and bronze, like
right.
bronze weapons and stuff. Yeah.
It would be so freaking epic to see that.
But instead what they do? They meet them on the road
Right.
in the show. Like, how
That's right.
dumb was that? This is a powerful moment in this book that I didn't realize till later on. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Lady,
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
They ask about the dire wolves, which
Yes.
they shouldn't be knowing too much about at that
Right.
point. They show up already knowing about the dire wolves, and foreshadowing with Jojen. His eyes are incredibly green, which means he sees with green eyes.
Right. And wearing all green with no weapons.
Mhm.
What do you think about that, Lady Tauriel?
That's what I was going to say. It's interesting that when they come into the throne room, she's the one that's all geared up and he has no weapons whatsoever.
Right.
And also that Rickon is taking on the persona of Shaggy Dog, if you noticed.
Yes.
Mhm.
Or is Shaggy Dog taking on the persona of Rickon? That's my question.
If you notice, he's not letting anybody cut his hair.
Yep.
And it's like if they're not letting him, if he's not letting him cut his hair, he's not letting them bathe him either.
Right.
So they're one and the same, or becoming one and the same. And who's to say they're not already one and the same?
Right.
Ooh.
Wow, I like that. Real quick, Culture Casino, awesome channel, awesome guy. Doomacorn for $1.49 super sticker. Thank you so much, sir. Time Prophet says they downplay the connection with the wolves in the TV show immensely. The thing is they only make really Brann a warg in the show, because I think they were scared that if they made all the Stark kids wargs, which we're starting to see, except for Sansa, because her wolf died or was killed, you're starting to see a connection with all these kids and their wolves. I guess they thought people wouldn't be smart enough to tell the difference, that Brann may be more powerful. As Jojen said, he doesn't know his own power. The thing I was wondering is, did anybody else catch, is this the first chapter where it's almost like Brann realizes, or Summer realizes, that they're connected? It's not a dream, really. He realizes he's in the wolf. Like, you know what I mean? Because he hears Mira. It's not John, when he's in the wolf, hears and sees things as a person. Everybody else, when they're in their wolves, hear and see things as wolves. But this is the first time that, and I don't know if it happens again, where Brann recognizes a voice as Summer. Like, oh, that's one of the reeds. Like, I just met them. He actually makes that connection, not like, oh, I smell man. I don't smell the taint of fear. You know what I mean? Like, he actually recognizes who it is.
I think Town Prophet is right too. They downplay the connection with the wolves.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why they took that approach. Maybe because, I don't know, they felt they didn't have enough time. But it's such an important point in the story.
I feel like they thought people wouldn't be able to tell the difference between, and I'm not trying to spoil, but Brann and the rest of his family, which is ridiculous. It is. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Toxic Man flew for $2 real quick. Oh, you son of a bitch. It's a cherry. It's a cherry for the inside joke. If anybody knows what that is, I'm still feeling it, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Uh-oh.
That's funny.
Yeah, they should snip it. I mean, clip it.
Oh, you bastard. I'm gonna read real quick. So now the Chronic men, Mira and Jojen, come in and they speak. They're kneeling at the dais and they say, "My Lord of Stark," the girl said, "the years have passed in their hundreds and their thousands since my folk first swore their fealty to the king in the north. My Lord Father has sent us here to say the words again for all our people." She is looking at me, Brann realized. He had to make some answer. "My brother Rob is fighting." We read this part, but you could say your words to me. And she goes on. "To Winterfell, we pledged the faith of gray water. They say this together. Hearth and heart and harvest we yield up to you, my lord. Our swords and spears and arrows are yours to command. Grant mercy to our weak, help to our helpless, and justice to all, and we shall never fail you." "I swear it by earth and water," said the boy in green. "I swear it by bronze and iron," his sister said. "We swear it by ice and fire," they finished together. I mean,
ice and fire.
Why?
Yeah,
Why do they say ice and fire?
Because it's a song of ice and fire. I still don't know what that means.
But also, if you notice that Jojen says the things of earth and she says the things of war.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. I'm glad you said that. I was going to ask if anybody noticed that. She is talking about protection, iron and bronze. He is talking about earth and water, which feeds trees.
Mm-hmm. And spiritual stuff.
Yep.
The old gods.
And gods.
I mean, this is an old gods family. And what I love about it is that in the North, it's a little more realistic that women are known as warriors. Than in the South, that is just not going to happen except for the person in the next chapter, actually. But, you got the women of Bear Island, the Mormonts, you got different women that are actually warriors. If you go north of the wall, it's always women. So it's not as shocking that she's a warrior, but for him not to have any weapons, that's like right off the rip. What is that?
Also, this is probably a bit of a stretch, but another character that hasn't shown up yet that we think might have a connection to Brann also has a connection to water and earth, because seafaring man with a ship, wood and water.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
we talking about the one-eyed guy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, I didn't think about that.
It's probably a bit of a stretch, though.
No, but I like that.
Why not?
I like that. What else? I mean, there's so much in this chapter. All the, Brann not feeling like, I love how Brann doesn't feel connection to anybody in the hall.
Actually, water and earth, right?
Yeah, water and earth.
Earth, children of the forest, weirwood trees, blah, blah, blah. Water, the drowned god.
Yes.
Ooh, the drowned god.
Connection.
The old gods.
The old gods, right. Don't forget. There's
no air god.
Right. That we know of. Don't forget that the people that, okay, so for people that don't know this, the drowned god is the god mostly of the, oh my God, I'm blanking. The
Peon
Pike.
people.
Iron Islands.
The Iron Islands. Thank you, brother. But they are originally first men. They're first men. So you're taking people that were first men that worshiped the trees, but yet when they got to the islands, because the trees couldn't grow and things like that, they found an old god beneath the sea, which there has to be a connection. There has
Or
to
it
be a
found
connection.
them.
Oh, yeah. Boom. Boom.
Under the sea.
But it
Also,
makes sense.
sea.
I mean, if you talk about nature, you got the land and the water are connected.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it could still very well be the same thing.
And maybe the drowned god was not always under the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, you have like earth, water, fire. Those are all like,
Elemental.
yeah.
Yeah, there's in I guess in mythology or old religions, there's 5, which is why we have the pentagram. There's the 4 elements, and then there's the 5th, which is the the spirit.
Right.
They believe the spirit was an element, basically.
Is that how we got? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how you have 5 points on a pentagram, and then you have like a circle, keeping them.
Because everything together
keeps
them. Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's not an evil sign.
Oh no,
Like most people associate it. It's the sign of the elements, basically.
Yeah, but basically Satanists took
hijacked
that,
it.
yeah, and they inverted it. So you have the on the bottom you have 1 point.
Oh, that's right. And the 2 points
which
on
is
top.
supposed to be the beard of the goat, and then you have
The horns and the ears.
yeah, and the ears. But the original pentagram is the other way. So you have the 1 point is at the top, which is the spirit.
Oh wow, man! I didn't know that.
There you
That's
go.
interesting.
Yeah, because they convert things that are holy or whatever. That's part of the symbols.
Basically, they inverted it like they did the cross.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said, they invert
Yeah.
the cross and do backwards masses and stuff, black masses.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the faith of the 7, isn't the idea of that that they represent different aspects of one god?
One
or was
God.
it originally?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this was the god that the
Yep.
Andals
It's
brought over, right?
monotheistic. Yes.
Right. So I wonder if that kind of represents air because it's not
Oh.
connected to any. It's not connected to a thing like a tree.
Any
or-
element.
Right.
You mean
know,
like the no face god, Jane?
Mm,
Well, what she's saying is, and if you mind me jumping in, you have R'hllor is fire. You
Right.
have the old god's earth. You have the drowned god is water. And all of those I feel like have power. But then you come to the faith of the 7, and it makes me think, I always, no disrespect to anybody. I'm not putting down Catholicism, but that's what it mirrors, is that idea of Catholicism, where they kind of were, people follow the faith, but it's when you get to the top, it's kind of about money. But they have no power that we know of in the story. Like, it's the one religion where I feel like there is no power, but could it be some form of air, which is another element?
because
Well,
it's not
wasn't-
grounded to anything.
Right.
Teresa, didn't I notice something about 7 with Catholicism the other day? Can't remember what it was.
Yes. The fact that we were having a bit of a discussion about the differences between Catholicism and other forms of Christianity is that we actually have 7 sacraments.
Right.
That's huge. That's
7
huge
is a
part.
holy number.
Yeah, 7's a holy number. So God created, there's 7-day week. God rested on the 7th day, and that there's 7 sacraments. And each of the sacraments, baptism, confirmation, holy order, all of that. It's all also very much wound up
Oh my
with salvation.
And each of those sacraments, I bet you could put one of the 7 there.
Yeah,
like the stranger for, when you die, they do that sacrament. I'm sorry.
Last rites.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last rite could be the
Mhm.
stranger. You know what I mean?
the
Like,
Eucharist and the marriage, matrimony.
right. It could be
um,
the crone or something. Oh, wow. I'm going to try to figure that out.
Yeah, just saying, and the fact is that, and of course, one God, and that the means of how he chose to give us graces or through the sacraments primarily.
Mm-hmm. Real quick,
wound up with the sacrifice on the cross, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's
right. That's so interesting.
intense theology.
And they also settled, when they arrived, they settled in the Vale first, right?
Yes.
And the Vale has
Air.
It's incredibly high, and that's the whole thing.
I mean, think of the eagle's nest, the top of the mountain, which is the house, the seat of the Aarons is in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just nail that? I'm going to find a connection with that. There has to be. Real quick before we go on, Toxic Man Flu for $2. Bring on the ice, you son of a bitch. Thank you, Toxic Man Flu. Wow. Yeah, Bone, that is very insightful. This is I'm enjoying tonight. This is crazy. And real quick, the great Thomas Gilkey in the house. If you have not subscribed to Thomas, he is real. So be prepared for realness when you subscribe to that man's channel. Good friend of the channel. Yeah, I kind of want to just go back real quick. So everybody's having a ball at this feast. Everybody's having a good time. At the very beginning, even Brann forgot for a split second he was crippled. Guys are grabbing women, dancing, singing, eating, and Brann feels so alone. And in that moment wants to cry. And in that moment, the door opens and it's the Reeds. And I find that to be more important than I thought the first time I read it. Like a salvation, a safety net. She's carrying a net. Like there's something very, they're very connected with them and him. You know what I mean? Like it's more than I thought, even when I read the books before.
Also true allies, like along those same lines. These are people who are actually loyal to your family and aren't going to backstab you because he can't trust any of these other people.
Right. Like he doesn't know Manderley well enough. He doesn't know any of the others, but he knows his father trusted Howland Reed more than probably any of his, probably trusted Howland Reed more than any other vassal. You know what I mean? So I found that to be a powerful moment.
It's also interesting that they keep mentioning Howland Reed and Arthur Dane in the same chapters all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're connected big time.
Yep. We didn't even get to that yet. Brann thinks of the story his father told him. Again, with Howland Reed, if it was not for Howland Reed, Ned would not have lived through his battle. Or it doesn't say that, but Ned would not have lived if it was not for Howland Reed. Or Arthur Dane would have killed Ned if it wasn't for Howland Reed. What do you guys think that means?
I think he left it intentionally vague.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's vague because there wasn't a fight.
Mm-hmm.
We're led to believe there was some kind of fight and Howland saved him. But they never mention a fight.
Nope.
Ever.
Misdirection.
Yep.
I'm not falling for it.
I agree with you because it didn't make any sense. There was no reason for them to fight. That's his sister.
Right. That's his sister. Ned is in love with Arthur's sister. Like they all know of each other. The king has been overthrown. The prince is dead. The king is dead. Robert is now in charge. There is no reason to battle to the death over. Did they really think Ned was going to hurt her? You know what I mean? It makes no sense.
I think it has to do with maybe Ned has slept with Arthur's sister. And Arthur's pissed about that. And Howland Reed tells Arthur what really happened.
Right. Because
it could be that simple.
I'll be honest, reading this, the first time I read it and going on a little farther, I took it as, Ned was about to get killed by, Arthur Dayne, and Holland Reed did something not honorable to save his life. And they kind of do that in the show. That's how they show that part in the show, which really people don't think this show is not canon, not even the first season. Okay. I don't care how close it is to the book. I no longer think any of that damn show is canon. But I did believe that when I read this the first time, that he must have done something dishonorable, stab in the back, something like that to slow him down. But the more you look at it, there's nothing about him killing Arthur Dayne. It's just Ned gets sad when he thinks about it.
Yeah,
but
nobody has said Arthur Dayne died anywhere.
Nope.
It's never, So ergo, he's not dead, because they keep telling people, yeah, Rhaegar died like this, and this and that Greyjoy died like that, right?
Right.
And
they call it the Ruby Ford now, because he died. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ned's brother and uncle, and father died.
Right.
But nothing about Arthur Dayne.
Right.
Interesting.
It's almost like Holland Reed just knew what to say. Like he interrupted and knew what to say to make them stop.
What he did was he waved his hand and said, "These aren't the Neds you're looking for."
Wrong show.
Right. Yeah. And don't forget, Ned never thinks bad about Arthur Dayne. He brings his sword back to Starfall. He never thinks bad about Rhaegar, who supposedly raped his sister. You know what I mean? Like, I can't wait for this next book, because even reading through this, we all just assume what we think is right. We really don't know.
Nothing is as it seems.
Nothing. Oh my God, look at all the things they're putting in there about cutting me up. What is wrong with you people? Freaking Toxic Man Flu starts it all, as always. Oh, you guys are hilarious. Time Prophet and Toxic Man Flu. Okay, does anybody have anything else on this chapter?
Vastly important chapter. This is
Yep.
building up lore, I guess, and all the mysteries. You know? So,
I do have one more thing. When Jojen approaches Summer, he won't hurt me. This is not the day I die.
Mm-hmm.
The male walked towards them, unafraid, reached out for the muzzle, a touch as light as a summer breeze. Yet at the brush of those fingers, the wood dissolved and the very ground turned to smoke beneath his feet and swirled away laughing. Then he was spinning and falling and falling and falling. Okay. How do I do this? I believe the three-eyed crow is a negative influence on Brann. The weirwood tree is a positive in his dreams. Jojen has some power to knock Brann out of his direwolf and make him fall, which scares Brann immensely in previous dreams. How is that a positive thing?
Well, because every time he's falling, it goes back to, of course, what happened to him.
Right.
And fear is of the dark side.
Right.
Well, maybe he's not only knocking him out of the wolf, maybe he's knocking him out from under that control.
I was going to say,
I don't know. Don't forget.
Definitely different.
Yes.
The touch and the feeling is definitely different.
It doesn't seem positive, does it, Lady Tauriel?
It may not seem threatening, though. It may be a different type of feeling that he feels when this happens this time.
Okay. Yeah, because we don't it doesn't tell us how he feels. It just says he's falling, and then in italics, falling. And I just remember, well, you know what? You do have a point. The very ground turned to smoke beneath his feet and swirled away laughing. I don't know. It just doesn't seem positive to me. I feel like now Brann is forced to open up his third eye when he falls. I get that. But I feel like that's setting something up about the journey ahead. That's all. I don't know. You think it's positive, Lady Tauriel? I know you have a thought on it. I know you have an idea. Do you believe it's positive or not?
I believe that it's opening up a different world for him.
Okay. I see what you're saying. All right.
Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right. I love it. Okay. Wow. That was an awesome chapter, everybody. Next up is Catelyn 2. Who has that? That is Miss Martin Muses or Jayne? Who was that?
Oh, I was the one that
Yes.
had dibs on it. In the chat.
Thank you. You take Cat. We love her.
Also,
Thank you for this. Go ahead.
When I said the chapters were getting, the synopsis were getting.
You lied.
I was wrong about this one.
Okay. Because even Brann was kind of long. I was like, what is he talking about? I was thinking that as I read it. That's funny you just said
You
that.
were two-thirds correct, perhaps.
How the hell did I screw this up, though? Because I clicked something earlier and the synopsis were... maybe it's for book 3.
It could be just that top little phrase.
I clicked book 3. That one.
You're allowed to be wrong once in your life, Stig.
It was the mouse. I clicked wrong.
Freaking Disney, man.
Evil mouse.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get this
I have
called...
to read a half a book again. Shit.
Well, let's get this book going. You're up, Teresa.
Okay, here we go. A cruel dawn wakes Catelyn from sweet dreams of happy family life. She is weary of riding, hurting, and being strong, but she knows she cannot allow herself to be weak today. Outside her tent, she finds Shad stirring oats into a kettle. Sir Wendell Manderly suggests supplementing this with roast quail, but Catelyn decides oats and bread are sufficient, since they have many leagues to travel. Her party includes 20 of Robb's best Winterfell men and 5 lordlings, including Sir Wendell, Sir blah 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 Frey, Lucas Blackwood, and Robin Flint, to add weight and honor to her negotiations with King Renly. It is a mission Catelyn never wanted, but Robb insisted he had no one else. Lord Holster Tully was too ill, and he needed Sir Brandon Tully to command his scouts, and Sir Edmure Tully to hold River Run when he marched. Catelyn argued that marching was rash, but Robb insisted waiting would make him look afraid and weaken his position, especially since Lysa Arryn will not support him. Catelyn feared he planned to play into Tywin Lannister's hand and march on Harrenhal, but Robb countered that he said nothing of Harrenhal. Catelyn smiles at the memory of Robb's obvious ploy of threatening to send Great John Umber in her place, given how ill-suited the Great John is to treat with a man like Renly. Before leaving, she wrote to Brann and Rickon and visited her father, but he mistook her for her mother. Half a day's ride from Renly's camp, they are spotted from a windmill and intercepted by Sir Colin of Greenpools with 20 men. When Catelyn announces herself as the envoy of the king in the north, Sir Colin insists that Renly is king of all the 7 kingdoms and escorts her to his camp at Bitterbridge, where the Rosewood crosses the Mander. With nearly all the chivalry of the south behind him, Renly's camp is immense. Thousands of cook fires cloud the air, and a vast menagerie of banners fly from a veritable forest of staffs. Monstrous siege engines line the road, tents and pavilions dot the landscape, and the whole place bustles with people. Everywhere Catelyn sees the golden rows of House Tyrell, and across the river, Renly and his storm lords have raised their own standards. Catelyn recognizes many of the sigils, but for each one, she knows there are a dozen she does not, all assembled to make Renly a king. Passing through a line of pavilions, they come upon a tourney melee taking place between the battlements of a small castle. Less than a score of contestants remain ahorse, cheered on by hundreds of spectators. Since penetrating the crowd proves difficult, Sir Colin asks that Catelyn's escort wait while he presents her to the king. A roar goes up when the knight of House Tarth in cobalt armor unhorses Red Ronnet Connington, but the carnage makes Catelyn think it mad for Renly to be playing at war with real enemies all around. Among the lords and ladies in the gallery, Catelyn recognizes stout Lord Mathis Rowan, delicate Lady Arwen Oakhart of Mirkwood, and Marthel Lord Randall Tarley, but others she knows only by sigil or not at all. The handsome King Renly sits in their midst, looking like a youthful ghost of his brother Robert, and laughing with his young queen Marjorie Tyrell, a girl of Rob's age with a shy smile and curly brown hair. And I messed it up. It was Rivendell. But Catelyn knows their marriage is the mortar of the Great Southern Alliance, and the rose sigil and green and gold colors of House Tyrell are prominent in Renly's slender crown and velvet tunic. Out in the field, only 4 men remain, and both king and commons obviously favor young Sir Loras Tyrell in his silver mail and rainbow cloak. 2 others ally against the blue-clad knight from Tarth, but are quickly unhorsed. Forced to discard his now broken shield for the final duel, the blue knight is at a disadvantage and soon disarmed by Sir Loras. Yet as Loras prepares the final blow, the blue knight charges into it, grapples him to the ground, and opens Tyrell's visor with a dirk to make him to yield. As the Blue Knight salutes the king in victory, squires rush to help Loras Tyrell remove his helm, and Catelyn is startled by his youth and beauty. Renly then bids the champion to approach, and there are a few cries of Tarth and, oddly, a beauty. But most remain silent. Renly declares the Blue Knight to be all his father claims, since Loras is rarely unhorsed. But Catelyn overhears accusations of trickery from the crowd. When she asks why the man in blue is so disliked, Sir Colin explains that the champion is no man, but Brienne of Tarth, the daughter of Lord Selwyn the Evenstar, who is often called Brienne the Beauty, though never to her face. King Renly officially declares Brienne the champion of the last mounted of 116 knights and offers her any reward within his power. Brienne asks to be made one of his 7 Rainbow Guard, and Renly agrees. It is only when Brienne removes her great helm that Catelyn understands Sir Colin's words. The only thing beautiful about Brienne are her girlish blue eyes. Her face is broad, coarse, and freckled, and with a large mouth full of crooked teeth and a nose that has been broken more than once. Catelyn is filled with pity for the girl, yet Brienne looks anything but unfortunate when Renly fastens a rainbow cloak to her shoulders, and her face lights up with a smile as she proudly pledges to give her life for him. Sir Colin interjects to introduce Catelyn, though she needs to insist that Robb is king in the north as well as Lord of Winterfell. Renly looks surprised but greets her warmly and introduces his queen, who offers condolences for her husband's death. Renly even swears to bring her Cersei Lannister's head when he takes King's Landing, but Catelyn replies that justice will be enough. Brienne of Tarth notes that Catelyn should kneel and refer to the king as Your Grace, but Catelyn insists they have more pressing matters to discuss. Some of Renly's lords bristle, but the king only laughs and asks when Robb plans to march on Harrenhal. Unsure whether Renly will be a friend or a foe, Catelyn only replies that she does not sit on the war council. Renly asks about Jaime Lannister, and learning that he is a prisoner, declares that the dire wolf is gentler than the lion. Lord Randall Tarley pipes up that Robb should have come to pay homage in person, but Catelyn counters that her son is fighting a war, not playing a game. You got yourself a dig. Not playing it one, sorry. Renly grins and warns Lord Tarley that he is outmatched, then offers Catelyn the use of his own pavilion since he is guesting at Lord blah-blah-blah's castle, and invites her to the evening's farewell feast. Renly's pavilion is so massive and richly furnished that Catelyn understands why his host moves so slowly, and that evening she is seated between Mathis Rowan and Sir John Fossaway. Meanwhile, Brienne of Tarth is seated at the far end of the high table in knight's garments instead of a lady's, and Catelyn notices that out of her armor, Brienne looks muscular, plain, and ungainly, and judges from the woman's actions that she knows it. Singers and tumblers entertain them, and the food is rich and plentiful, but Catelyn eats only sparingly and watches those around her. King Renly speaks amiably to all and sometimes feeds Queen Marjorie choice morsels or kisses her lightly, but it is Sir Loras who shares most in his jests and confidences. Others are less moderate. The brothers Joshua and Elias Willem dispute who will be first over the walls of King's Landing. Lord Varner dandles a serving girl. Sir Gaillard Morgan sings a bad song about knotting lions' tails. Sir Mark Mullendore feeds his pet monkey from his plate, and Sir Tanton Fossaway climbs onto the table and swears to slay Sandor Clegane in single combat. When a gold-dressed fool and a dwarf elicit gales of laughter by mocking Jaime and Tyrion Lannister, Lord Rowan remarks to Catelyn that Renly and his favorites are all very young. Seeing Lord Bryce Caron goad Sir Robert Royce into juggling daggers, Catelyn recalls that none of them are old enough to have seen war, so they think it is a game and believe themselves immortal. She tells Lord Rowan that war will make them old, as it did her generation, and she says she pities them because they are the knights of summer and winter is coming. Brienne chimes in to disagree, saying, "Winter will never come for the likes of us. Should we die in battle, they will surely sing of us, and it's always summer in the songs. In the songs, all knights are gallant, all maids are beautiful, and the sun is always shining." Catelyn knows that winter comes for everyone, as it did for her when Ned died, but King Renly saves her from having to say so by asking her to take the heir with him. Brienne wants to come along as well, but Renly insists another sword will make no difference in the midst of his own army. Brienne seems very hurt by the refusal. As they walk, Renly asks if Sir Barristan Selmy has joined Robb at River Run. When Catelyn seems puzzled, Renly tells her of Selmy's dismissal and his vow to serve the true king, adding that Brienne's position in the Rainbow Guard was meant for Selmy. Next, Renly explains that he offered Ned 100 swords to seize Joffrey, but fled when refused because he lacked the strength to act alone and feared Cersei meant to kill him after Robert died. He adds that he liked Ned well enough and knew him to be Robert's loyal friend, but says Ned would not listen or bend. Leading her out onto the roof, Renly shows Catelyn his army's countless campfires and asks how many fires burn around River Run. He guesses that Robb has 40,000 men at most, though Catelyn knows the real number is much lower. Renly declares that he has twice as many with him, another 10,000 with Mace Tyrell at Highgarden, a strong garrison at Storm's End, and soon all the power of Dorne and his brother Stannis Baratheon on Dragonstone. Catelyn counters sharply that Renly seems to have forgotten that Stannis has the better claim. Renly replies that Stannis is respected and feared, but not loved, and would make an appalling king. Gesturing to his army, Renly declares that his claim is as good as Robert's ever was. Then he offers terms. Robb can rule in Winterfell and even go on calling himself king in the north, but he must bend the knee to Renly as his overlord. When Catelyn asks the consequences of refusal, Renly insists he means to be king of a united realm and reminds her that Torrhen Stark was wise to yield to Aegon the First Targaryen, adding that if they join together, the war is as good as done. Just then, a messenger rides into the yard with news that Storm's End is under attack, although Sir Courtenay Penrose defies the besiegers. When Renly protests that he would know if Lord Tywin had left Harrenhal, the messenger replies that these are no Lannisters. It is Lord Stannis at the gates, calling himself King Stannis. Dum, dum, dum.
Yeah, damn right, Red Woman.
Real quick, Moria Kitty, welcome to the chat. What's with the emojis? I got snipped on Friday and people will not let me forget it. That's my problem for being so open about the things. I am literally right now sitting on a bag of snow. Thank God for nature's ice. Anywho, thank you, Teresa. That was awesome. Who would like to start on this one? Stig, what are your thoughts?
Not too much. I went and made some tea.
Did you put butter in it?
Catelyn is a twat. Renly's slandering Stannis. It's gonna bite him in the ass. And yeah,
they're playing at war.
They're too cocky.
Really?
And, I'm gonna have to warn Renly twice.
Isn't that right?
Isn't that right, said Dallas?
Yeah, Jayne, what do you think?
I think the Starks keep making bad decisions. Because aligning with Renly wouldn't have been a bad idea. He has massive support military-wise. He has a pretty normal disposition compared to his brothers. People love him. He wouldn't make a bad king for Westeros, I don't think. He's smart. I mean, we saw him try to advise Ned, and he didn't listen. I just think that this was an opportunity that they could have taken to form a strong alliance, maintain some independence in the north, and give Westeros the king they deserved and get rid of the Lannisters.
Right. I mean, he even says he could still call himself king. He just has to have fealty to, the rest of the kingdom, which, you know what? It's just like Dorne. They still call themselves prince and princesses,
Well,
no one cares what they do up there.
Right.
Remember when in book 1, Robert was talking to or maybe that was on the show. He was explaining the army, that one strong army is better than many small ones.
Oh, showing his fist. That was the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Stannis seems to understand that too.
Right.
Which is why he doesn't want to compromise, because maybe in the future, one strong army will be useful.
Ooh, yeah. Well, let's go back to what was said a couple chapters ago. Stannis is the iron, Robert was the steel, and Renly is the copper or bronze. He's very shiny. And I like how Teresa, how they keep saying, they're playing at war. They don't they don't understand. Like every castle he stops and has feasts. If he moved his army up and attacked King's Landing, this could already be over.
Yeah. I mean, because especially it seems like the way they're describing it, there's fires everywhere. They've got really good warriors. It's hits for the taking. And it seems, correct me if I'm wrong, they were talking about if they were to combine up with Stannis. Was there something like that? Or was Renly talking about like after he defeated his brother, he would have Stannis' force? Okay. I wanted to make sure I understood that part. Okay.
Yeah, because he knows his brother would never yield to him because he makes the comparison, when Catelyn, who, Cat believes in order. If you listen to what she says about wishing she was home with her daughters, holding hands, and she wants everything to be back, Ned being in bed, smiling, like everything to be back the way it should be. Well, then it should go oldest brother is next in line. And Renly's answer to that, Lady Tauriel, I don't know if you agree, is well, look how Robert took this kingdom. He took it by force.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if the delay to some degree was because he was hoping that the North would come around.
I think he's overconfident. What do you think, Lady Tauriel? Because that's a good question.
He's biding his time and he's gathering forces as he goes. He's doing, unlike Stannis, where there's absolute power. Renly does it by wooing and cajoling.
Right.
And the good nature and people. He's taking it slow and gathering people.
Right.
and the promises of something in the future.
I mean, he has a massive army, right? So he has collected a good amount. He collected enough where he can put siege to, King's Landing and force the hand of the Lannisters, but yet he still is taking his time.
Yes, he's waiting for someone else to do it, actually.
I
He's he's a good statistician, and with the Starks, on the other hand, they're from the north.
Yep.
They don't give,
Right.
because it's a completely different mindset up there.
Now, can I ask a general question to anybody? Did Rob give Cat the power to make a deal? No,
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
No,
I don't think so. He wouldn't let
No.
a woman do that.
right. Smart guy.
But she does all the time make decisions without him, and that's a problem.
Well, but the problem is, this is the one time where she should have made the decision. Think about it. If they connected those two armies up, this war could be over.
Yeah, Renly screwed up everything.
Yep.
She may agree with that,
Mm-hmm.
but she didn't have the power because her son is the king,
Right.
and she won't go against what he says, as you see later on.
Right. And Renly's a very okay. So show Renly was just good, really good actor, but they focus so much just on his sexuality
Mhm.
and none of what the book. This guy he's smart, he's powerful, he's strong looking. I mean, he looks like Robert as a young man who was this massive hulking warhammer wielding king.
Right.
And the show definitely did not capture that.
It's like they made him a princess.
Yes.
Why?
He was supposed to be anything but that.
Right.
Yeah, they did the same to Loras and Renly. It's just they were there to be gay.
Exactly.
He made
Really? Because I still haven't watched the show.
Oh
But-
God, it's pathetic, Lady Tauriel.
It's sad.
But to me, here, he seems like he's more, what's the word I'm looking for? Charismatic, maybe,
Yes.
is the word.
Yes. Well, people want
He's
to follow
comparable.
him.
He's
Right?
comparable to Jamie, right? In terms of physique to some degree, right?
Yeah, he's a look. Robert is known, granted, I love the actor they had play Robert, but he was too small, even though he was what Robert should look like, fat and older. But Robert was a hulking man. He was tall, lean, and strong as a young man. Renly, they say in his armor, is a spitting image of Robert. That actor showed none of that. He looked, again, they picked him for the daintiness. It was all about like one-dimensional gay character.
Like a stereotype.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. Yeah, because I was noticing that too. How much they pointed out how tall he was, and it's not the first time that they said about how he was a spitting image of what Robert was, and what Robert still kind of could have been.
Right.
Because they weren't
6'6".
that old.
6'6" Robert was.
Yeah,
And he was a spitting image. Now you look at the actor, and
he's tiny.
that dude again looked like he couldn't fight with a envelope opener. Like it just one of those things where they really did a disservice to this character, because you believe, okay, this is the next king. Like he has 100,000 people. He's pretty much, I don't know if you guys got this, and let me know if you saw it differently. He brings Cat up. That was a threat to show her his camp. Like, this is who I have. Look at all these campfires. Look at all this weaponry, soldiers. Don't go against us.
But But see, I didn't take it that way. I really didn't see it as a threat. I saw it more as this is what I have to offer. Like if you join, because he knows that she's lying. I mean, he knows that she's misrepresenting not Robert, Lord.
Rob's
power right now. So he's showing her it makes sense to join me. Look at what I bring to the table. We can win together. I'm showing you this. I'm not just saying it. This is proof. Look. I don't think it was a threat because he never really had an issue with the Starks.
No, he doesn't, but he needs them. He needs them to bend the knee. I took it as, yes, I see where you're saying it, but reading it this time, I almost felt like this is what your son will be up against if, he doesn't choose the right side.
Yeah. Well, I definitely felt.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, no, go ahead, Stig.
Well, given how Renly is so overconfident, which is usually a very bad sign in this series, right?
Yeah.
If you get cocky and overconfident, something bad happens. But he's prancing around the countryside, having parties at every castle.
Right.
It could be that he's kind of showing off his toys as well.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
But
he is flashy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also I was struck when he was talking to Catelyn about how he was like, hey, and your son can be king in the north, but he must bend the knee.
Yes.
So that he still was showing some power. That's how I kind of took it. But to go a little bit off topic, I know the way they were in the show, but oh my gosh, Sir Laurel's hair. Just gotta say. I mean, yes, I don't like the way they did it, but they had great hair. So that's all that's important, right?
The curly thing?
Well, no, not everything, but I mean, come on.
No, I
those
said
curls.
the curly.
Well, I mean, the hair they got right, but
oh yeah, I know I'm teasing, but that also, I think in the show, or maybe here, they were showing also it was also about appearances,
right?
They were very flashy. I think, as Jayne said, and sometimes,
yeah,
and shows that sometimes you need to make things on the nose and on the head because it's a visual medium,
right?
Just saying.
I'm with you on that. I get what you're saying, but you couldn't find somebody more powerful. Look, I would never look at the guy they picked as Renly even to be related to the guy who played Robert. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel it.
He didn't look like a Baratheon.
He didn't look like a Baratheon.
No.
Stannis looked like
Stannis either. Yeah. I was about to say, Ridley didn't look like either. I mean, he looked like Mama was straying.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Stannis looked fairly accurate, though.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Except for the hair. Except for the hair.
The actor nailed the character, though. Holy crap.
Yes.
He never got enough credit for that. Well,
no, he didn't.
He didn't get any credit. But that was he was playing book Stannis.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to say I did like the part where he was shocked that he thought Sir Barristan would be with with Robb at River Run, and when she's like, I didn't even know he was gone from King's Landing, like, where is Barristan? That's kind of something they threw out there that I kind of read over the first time. And it's kind of fun that they throw that out there, like, oh yeah, Sir Barristan, he's kind of missing. He did say he was leaving to go, be with a true king or a true ruler. But he then goes over what happened with him and Ned. But it was kind of something they just kind of throw away. Like, oh, Sir Barristan isn't with him. Oh, okay. Just leaving that out there. I thought that was kind of cool. What do you guys feel about Brienne? It's our first sight of Brienne.
She's uglier in the books than on the show.
Right. She is. She is. We'll leave it at that. She's uglier in the books. The woman who played Brienne is so much better looking. And she is definitely, you could already tell she would do anything to protect Renly. Everybody else seems they just want his favor. She wants to protect him. You know?
Yeah, because she has a crush on him.
Right.
Yeah. And how I did notice how they showed how happy she was when he let her protect him.
Right.
That was very sweet.
It was. Wow, we've been going for a while, and I know some of you guys are going to have to leave soon. So, Stannis Kenobi, why don't we jump on to the next one? If anybody has something, last thoughts they want to cover real quick
just
on that
one thing on Brienne.
Yeah, go ahead.
The whole obsession with song. It's not something I would have expected from her. I actually didn't remember that. It kind of reminds me of Sansa, which is kind of weird since she's a warrior.
What do you mean? Her obsession with what again?
Her talking about the song and how to be remembered and all of that. And it's like, you're romanticizing war.
Right. It's always summer. Yep.
Yeah. Like, don't you get it? I kind of expected her to understand it better, but I guess not.
None of them do. They're all young. They've never been in war. They don't get it at all. And that's what Catelyn realizes. They're playing at war. They've never been. Robb is actually fighting battles. They're playing at war. They don't even know what to expect, most of them, except for some of the older ones like Tauriel and stuff like that. All right. Stannis, are you ready?
Yeah, I'll do half of it, maybe, and then
do your thing.
We'll yap about it, because this is I have a tendency to pick the
really long ones.
I know. Okay, I'll start. Synopsis. Jon is riding beside a grumpy Lord Commander with an equally soaked and grumpy raven on his shoulder. There have been 6 days of rain, and the ground is treacherous. Jon thinks about Pipar and Totter sitting near the fire in the common room. Lord Commander is relieved when he hears Jarman Buckwell's horn. It means there are still people at Craster's Keep. They have so far passed through 7 villages without seeing anybody. Jon has heard many tales about Craster. Thorin Smallwood swears he is a friend of the Watch, though he has an unsavory reputation. Tywin says he's a kinslayer, liar, raper, craven, and slaver. Side note, cancel culture lives strong in Westeros. Continuing, the Lord Commander tells Jon to spread the word down the column that he wants no trouble with Craster's women, and the men will mind their hands and avoid talking to the women. As he rides down the line, he finally comes to Sam with the baggage. The ravens are very unruly, and Sam explains that they hate the rain, like men. Sam states that he is doing all right, but wet. And when he is told that Craster's Keep is just ahead, he tells Jon that Edison Tullett says Craster marries his daughters, only follows his own laws, and that Tywin told Gren he has black blood. Also, that his mother is a wildling that laid with a ranger. Sam almost goes on to call Craster a bastard, but Jon finishes for him and says he has heard the word before. Jon finally makes it to the rear to give word to Sir Auden Withers, who considers it welcome news. He has always looked tired, but the rain has made him look much worse. On the way back up the column, Jon cuts through the woods. When he hears rustling, he thinks it's Ghost, but it's Tywin and Gren. Jon gives them the news that Craster is alive, and discussion turns to how many wives he has. Then Ghost is loping beside Jon's horse. Jon rides ahead to the keep. When he gets to the keep, he's very disappointed. He did not expect a stone castle, but what he finds he could call a midden heap. Inside the compound, he sees a little naked girl pulling carrots, and 2 women tie a pig up for slaughter. He can hear Chet's hounds barking being answered by the bark of Craster's dogs. Some of the dogs break off when they see Ghost, while others growl and Ghost ignores them. Jon estimates that only 30 or maybe 50 will get to sleep in the hall, but not their 200. Dolores Ed has been entrusted with the Lord Commander's mount and tells Jon that he is to join the commander in the hall, but the wolf should stay outside. Inside the squalid, foul-smelling hall, there are already 24 rangers, including Jarman Buckwell and Thorin Smallwood. Jon thinks how he looked forward to seeing the wonders beyond the wall. It is a pity Pipar and Todder are missing this. Craster is the only one sitting in a chair. Even the commander has to sit on a bench. And seeing him, Jon thinks of old Nan's tales of wildlings drinking blood from human skulls. He overhears Craster say that he has not seen Benjen Stark for 3 years. In the background, shabbily dressed women prepare the food and pass out beer, while a dozen puppies and a pig sulk around. Mormont tells Craster that Ben was searching for the vanished Sir Weimar Royce, Garrett, and Will. Craster recalls the 3 men, but does not know where they went. He does complain that his wives made cow eyes at young Sir Weimar, who was too proud to sleep under his roof. The commander tells him about the villages they found abandoned and the whites that attacked him at Castle Black. Craster feigns ignorance, but one of his wives recognizes the truth in the tale by the look of horror on her face. Craster also refuses the offer of an escort back to the wall, saying he is of the Free Folk. He even has his wife confirm that this is their place. Craster keeps them safe, and it is better to die free. Jarman Buckwell asks about Craster's king, Mance Rayder, and Craster states that the Free Folk have no need for kings. And when one of Mance's men arrived to tell him he had to leave his keep and grovel at Mance's feet, he sent the man back without his tongue. Craster tells the Lord Commander that they can sleep on the floor, but he will only feed 20. Mormont responds that the roof would be welcome, and they have food and wine which they will share. Craster expresses particular interest in the wine, and then adds that any man that lays a hand on one of his wives loses his hand. Mormont agrees, but does not look pleased. Craster now asks if Mormont has a man that can draw maps, and Jon steps forward, stating that Sam likes maps. Mormont tells Jon to go get Sam with quill and parchment, and bring Mormont's axe as a guest gift. Craster notes that Jon Snow has the look of a Stark, and is told that he is Mormont's steward and squire. When Craster hears the name Snow, he understands that Jon is a bastard, and declares that a man who wants to bed a woman should marry her like he does, and tells Jon to do his service. Okay, I'll pause there.
All right. Yeah, huh? Better marry those women, Craster. Shane said he thinks Craster currently has 19 wives. Holy crap. What do you guys think? Let's start, Jayne.
None of them are 19.
No, man. Jayne, what do you think?
That's so messed up. It was just funny to me that the one guy got sent back without a tongue.
Yeah.
Talk about punishing the messenger.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think it just shows how absolutely disgusting this guy is. And I just think that's what this is intended to show. He's just in his own little world out there. And we don't quite understand why he's doing what he's doing at this point. But we learn later.
So he's not the Tom Bombadil of the story. One thing when he turns to the girl and she's like, it's better to die free or live free than, whatever. It's like she was trained to say that, like Craster trained his wives how to respond because he knows, even though he tries to make it seem like it's okay, he knows it's messed up too. So they're trained to be grateful that their dad is their husband.
Here's something that caught my brain a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
When the books start, right?
Yeah.
So some rangers, Waymar Royce and the others, encounter the White Walkers.
Yes.
And they get killed, except one who runs away and
Right.
ends up near Winterfell, which should take him probably 3 weeks, right?
Yes.
At least. And he gets interrogated basically and beheaded.
Yes.
And then shortly after, they have King Robert arrives, and Benjen shows up, and Benjen talks to Maester Luwin for the most part. So it's safe to assume that Benjen is informed of, the fact that they caught the traitor, right?
Right.
Or rather, the deserter. So Benjen knows. And then there's 2 weeks at least to go back to Castle Black.
Mm-hmm.
And then Benjen talks to the Lord Commander, I assume, informing him of, they caught the guy, right?
Right.
So why the hell does Lord Commander Mormont send Benjen out to find Waymar Royce? They know he's dead. He's been dead for way over.
My God. I never thought of that, man.
Because that makes no sense. They know he's dead. Even if they find something, the animals would have eaten it. It's been that long.
And there's no chance, even though we don't hear it, there's no chance he didn't. Hey, by the way, we beheaded one of your guys. Like, I can't imagine Ned or the Maester not telling him that.
Yeah. I actually always assumed that's why Benjen showed up, because they let him know that, hey, we caught the guy,
Yeah,
no.
See, I never saw that as that. I always took it as he's a lord no matter what, Yeah,
because King Robert shows up kind of without warning.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't send a letter to Benjen telling him, hey, the king is coming over. Come down and meet him. They don't do that for the Night's Watch.
Well, you do find out that some of the lords, like even the Royce kid, they're treated a little bit differently than the rapists and thieves and whores that they get, so.
But still,
I agree with you. Definitely on the premise of he would have known.
They wouldn't have time to send for Benjen, because that would take 2 weeks for him to get to
at least
Winterfell, and they didn't know 2 weeks early because King Robert just showed up. They only knew a day or two before he arrived.
Is it that short?
Yeah, because they have to scramble and make a feast.
Well, I know they have to scramble. I just didn't realize it would be that short.
It's not 2 weeks ago.
It's not 2 weeks though. I'll give you that. And
they have to know Waymar Royce is dead.
That I agree with you. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, and since Craster had seen Waymar Royce, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the direction Waymar Royce went. But he hasn't seen Benjen. So Benjen didn't go that way.
So where the hell did he go?
Yeah, he didn't go looking for Waymar Royce. I think that's bullshit. I think he went looking for something else.
Oh,
because it simply doesn't add up.
See, Shane's saying they had a month. And I swear there was enough time. Okay, so let me just say this real quick. I agree with you completely now on the idea of they would have known he was dead, because no way a brother of the Night's Watch, a Stark, goes to Winterfell and they don't tell him this.
Yeah,
But
and
I do believe he had enough time to get there. I bet you they sent for him. I do believe, even though they made it seem like it was like a last minute thing, they had enough time to have him come down and stuff. But I agree with you on the Royce thing. I never thought of that.
actually, they probably would have sent a raven to the Lord Commander too, saying, "Hey, we caught the guy, and
Yes,
the people with him got killed by the others or whatever."
that's what he told us. Yeah,
Yeah, because that they wouldn't just say, "Yeah, we caught a deserter, we beheaded him." That's it. They would have mentioned what he said as well, because that would be very relevant to the Night's Watch.
Do you think that's why? He sent Benjen out because he's like, okay, they beheaded him because they didn't believe the thing about the White Walkers. It seems that the Rangers, they all believe something. You get that feeling even in this chapter. They believe something is going on more than just wildlings out there.
I think Benjen went
Yeah.
to Winterfell to discuss the others with Maester Lewin and maybe even Old Nan and maybe Ned. I'm not sure if they even talked. They probably did at some point.
Don't forget, Maester Lewin might not act like it, but he does have a Valyrian steel chain, which means he studied the higher mystical stuff.
Yeah,
So,
and we know Benjen talked to Maester Lewin.
yeah.
So there's I think that is why Benjen was there, and he also took John with him. I think he goaded him into doing that. Goaded John. But
definitely.
Yeah, the Waymar Royce thing doesn't add up.
Wow. What do you ladies think about the chapter or what we're talking about?
Yeah. Well, I must admit, I'm still kind of confused about all the Benjen stuff. You know what I mean?
Understand.
But of course, we're finally getting into maybe a bit of action, if you will, in the part with Jon Snow, because it seemed like there was a lot of talk and a lot of symbolism and a lot of setup, but it's some things were happening in this one. And I don't know. It's good. What can I say? And of course, Craster is a very compelling character, isn't he?
Right. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. He is one of a kind. And when we meet Craster, there's only women.
Mm-hmm.
And they make that very obvious.
Interesting. The word Craster is Celtic or Welsh for crow's nest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Yep. It's probably where he got the name.
What are you thinking, Lady Tauriel?
Well, yeah, Craster is a survivor. When it comes down to it, he will sacrifice any and everyone to survive.
Right.
He's a piece of work, I have to say that. On the other, it's more twists and turns.
Yep.
And building blocks, shall we say.
Yeah. I'll definitely give you that.
Something just struck me with Craster's, Craster meaning crow's nest, right? Craster, well, a crow's nest is where the eggs are laid. For
Holy crap.
For the crow.
Oh my God, dude.
And he's laying lots of eggs, if you know what we mean.
He is.
For the evil crow, maybe.
I'm with you on that. I'm telling you, the crow is evil. The three-eyed crow is evil, and it is not the weirwood. It's not the guy we think it is. Oh man, that is a good. I'm writing that down right now. Eggs and the crows, dude. That is a really smart, and interesting call there. I would never have thought of that. What do you think, Jayne?
No, I think I'm shocked at that parallel. I also wonder if there's something to Ghost's behavior. I mean, I know he's hungry and that's sort of the excuse, but the fact that he went after the rabbits that were in the cage, I don't think that was a coincidence.
Right.
And then when John finds him, he's, standing in front of this girl. Why would he still be there?
Right. Right.
Doesn't
Right.
quite make a whole lot of sense
It
unless
doesn't.
he's waiting and he wants the two to meet for some reason.
Well, don't forget Craster says, he's a godly man. It's the old gods. And if any of the dire wolves is connected to the old gods, it's Ghost. I do like at the very beginning of this, how John, he's being kind of groomed to be the Lord Commander's, replacement, we think. And he's going to, different groups of men, checking on them, almost like in battle, a sergeant, making sure his guys are good in their foxholes and doing this and that. Like it just, I like that, the way George showed that John is a leader. He's checking on everyone, making sure everybody's okay. I just thought I'd say that quick too.
And he's grown a lot because he didn't start out that way.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't think Snow is Ghost is a good guy either.
Yeah.
Really?
What?
Yeah, I wonder that too.
Yeah,
not by his own volition though.
He has red eyes. He's mute. He looks like a weirwood tree.
Yep.
And he keeps discovering things seemingly at random that drives John towards maybe a certain end.
Right.
He does direct him a lot. Yeah.
He directs him a lot. He's the one that finds everything. Yeah, he's the one that finds everything.
Interesting, but maybe I'm jumping ahead. Is it because he's bad, or is he just pushing him toward his destiny?
I think someone's controlling Ghost.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Lady Tauriel, you agree, right?
Yeah, I agree. Most definitely.
Yep. All right. Should we read the rest of this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Where was I? Okay. Half a novel left. John almost collides into Odin Withers as he's leaving. Outside, he finds tents have gone up all over the compound. He finds Dolores Ed and tells him of the requests. Ed states that the commander will get his axe back buried in his skull. When he hears that the commander wants wine as well, he says that Craster, drunk, will only cut off an ear when he attempts to slay them. When John tells Dolores Ed that Smallwood says Craster is their friend, he responds, the difference between wildling friends and enemies is that the friends bury them in sacred graves. John hears a shout of fear as he finishes up feeding the horses. He finds Ghost with 2 rabbits confronting a 15-year-old girl. John promises that Ghosts will not hurt her. He asks her if she is one of Craster's daughters, and is told she is now his wife, which is disturbing as shit. She was hoping to breed the rabbits. John can tell that Ghost has gone after the caged rabbits. He must have been hungry. He would pay for them, but has no money, so he tells her that the night's watch will make good. She calls him Lord, and he responds he's no lord. Then Ranger Lark, the sisterman, tells her that he is Lord Snow himself, and then notes that the wolf is looking hungry. John tells Lark that he is scaring her, only to have Chet respond that Lark is warning her. The girl then remembers that she's not to talk to them. Chet tells John that he would not be so bold without Ghost around. Chet lost his position as Maester Aemon's steward because of Jon. When Lark joins in about Jon being a coward without his wolf, he leaves. It takes a while for Jon to find Sam, and it is actually Ghost that finds him under a rock outcrop. Ghost has given Jon the second rabbit, and Jon shows Sam and then informs him that the commander wants him to create a map. Jon proceeds to cook the scrawny rabbit over a fire. It smells wonderful, and the other rangers give them envious looks. As they eat, Sam asks if Craster is a savage, as they say. After Sam leaves with the quill and parchment, Jon falls asleep, thinking that maybe the commander will learn something that will lead him to Uncle Benjen. He wakes to dawn, and Ghost is gone. Everything is coated in a fine ice glaze. And Jon thinks of his sisters, and that Sansa would call this enchantment. He hears his name called and finds the girl with the rabbits wearing Sam's cloak. She asks him if he is the king's brother, and he tells her he is his half-brother. Jon is concerned about Craster, but Gilly tells him her father drank too much and will sleep most of the day. She then asks him about the king's justice. She wants to leave. Craster should not even notice since he has 19 wives. She explains that she is pregnant, and while it will not be too bad if she has a girl, since Craster will let her grow up and marry her. If it's a boy, he will give it to the gods. Nella has told her that her baby will be male, and Gilly believes she knows these things, having had 6 boys. She continues by telling Jon that when the white cold comes, he sacrifices the boys, and it has been coming more often. So he has had to give the sheep, which are now gone. Next, it will be the dogs. The cold gods come at night and are white shadows. Jon thinks about the 2 whites and asks the color of their eyes, and is told they are bright blue. She tells him that she knows he did not take of Craster's hospitality, so Jon is not bound to Craster, and asks to be taken to the wall. But Jon tells her they are going in the other direction, and that it is for the old crow to decide, not him. Disappointed, she leaves. He joins Dywyn, Gren, and Hake for breakfast. Dywyn claims he had 3 of the women last night. He is not believed. Jon asks if Sam slept in the hall, and is told that it was impossible to sleep with the hard ground, the ill-smelling rushes, and the snoring, particularly the snoring of Brown Bernard. Jon soon excuses himself to attend the Lord Commander. On the way, he passes by the scouts, and Jarman Buckwell tells him to keep a good edge on his sword, since they will be needing it soon enough. When he enters the hall, the commander's raven announces his presence with a request for corn. When the commander asks, Jon tells him the rain has stopped, but it is cold. Mormont tells him to saddle his horse, for he plans to leave within the hour. He tells Jon that there is some food, but Jon declines, deciding he will not take of Craster's hospitality. He finds Sam behind the hall with Gilly. She quietly leaves, and Sam tells Jon he was hoping he could do something for Gilly. Jon asks what he could have done, wrap her in a cloak and take her with them. Sam admits Jon is right, but he's afraid, and maybe when they come back they can take her. Jon states the commander will not let them take one of Craster's wives. then quickly excuses himself because he has to groom and saddle the horses. As he rides alongside Mormont, Jon notes that Craster has no sons or sheep. Mormont admits that Craster gives his sons to the wood, and tells Jon that all the rangers know, but will not talk of it. If he could have, Mormont states, he would have taken the boys. They could raise them to the black, but the wildlings serve crueler gods. Mormont then asks if Jon spoke to one of Craster's wives, and Jon admits he did. Then Mormont tells Jon that if he had his way, with Craster sprawled out drunk and the new axe below, one of the wives could easily kill him. However, the Night's Watch need Craster, and his keep has been responsible for saving many ranger lives. Mormont can tell Jon wants to say something and tells him to. Jon states that his father said that a brutal or unjust bannerman shames his liege lord. Mormont responds that Craster is his own man and has sworn no vows. After Jon informs Mormont that Buckwell has told him he would soon need his sword, Mormont explains that Craster told him Mance Rayder is gathering his people at the Frostfangs, a cruel and inhospitable wilderness of stone and ice. Mormont expects Mance to invade the realm. Jon mentions that Raymond Redbeard, in the time of his grandfather's grandfather and before that Bale the Bard, invaded the realm. Mormont admits this, adding more names including Joramun, who blew the horn of winter to wake the giants. But not only is the Watch a shadow of itself, Winterfell is weak, with Robb marching south. This is a great opportunity for the wildlings. Their only choice is to find Mance Rayder and stop him. The end.
Wow.
You made it.
I know. Holy cow.
Yay.
All right. So,
A little observation I had there.
yeah, please go.
Craster says he's sacrificing blah 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 to the old gods, right? We're told that. Mormont says he's sacrificed. He gives the children to the woods.
Yes.
So trees, gods.
Yep.
It's pretty much spelled out a bit there.
But he also says crueler gods, even though Mormont's from the north and it's the same gods, but he's saying crueler gods. So are they the same gods? My question is this, and I've meant to ask this before. How the hell does Craster know enough about Starks to know that Jon has their look?
Benjen.
One person, one guy. You know what I mean? Like, you have the look of a Stark. Like, it means he's seen multiple Starks. I always wondered about that.
Huh.
Well, I wonder if, he's passed through their territory, right, to get there. So he may know just from everybody knowing what the Starks look like.
I guess. I think, because I thought the same thing, Stig. Oh, it's Benjen, but that's one person. How do you that boy, just random dude, has the look of a Stark?
They may have a reputation, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, because I'm thinking, Sporking, who else could he be referring to?
That's what I'm wondering. Has any of Ned's father or anybody ever gone north of the wall? Because Craster is an older guy. He's up there, for this world. Yeah. He's up there in age.
He's half a wildling.
Right.
So maybe Craster wasn't always Craster.
Exactly.
Right.
But we do know Waymar Royce has the look of a Stark, which I thought was interesting because the White Walker, when he kills him, he kind of recognizes him almost and kills him.
Well, he recognizes what I love about that part is he recognizes him and pauses until he sees his sword. And when he realizes his sword isn't something special, that's when they start laughing and they taunt him and kill him. So what is it the look of a Stark. Because Jon, when you look at Jon's features, he looks just like Rhaemar Royce. What is the sword they're waiting on?
Mm-hmm.
That a Stark would have. Yeah. It's not Dawn. You know what I mean? Like, what is the sword?
A Valyrian sword.
Maybe. I don't think Valyrian swords are old enough.
Or
it would have to be. Well, the original ice. Remember, that's the second ice. That is a Valyrian. Lightbringer? Maybe not Lightbringer. Like, okay, so Dawn is a very, very old sword. The original ice, that's what the Valyrian steel ice was modeled after. I wonder if the original ice, they say, oh, it was lost. You know, a Stark lost it many, many years ago. I believe the original ice is still in the crypts, deep in the crypts. That's what they're going to find down there, the original ice. And that is the sword they fear. It is made of dragon steel, whatever the hell that means.
You know, that's a great theory, because the new ice has been essentially destroyed for all practical purposes. It makes sense that it would be replaced. That would be a nice arc, I guess, to the story of the sword. And it could be the thing that everyone's looking for.
Time Prophet says Valyrian swords can cut.
No, come on.
A clean cut.
You know, my doctor's last name was Craster. Kind of weird, huh? Yeah, so we learn more of what Craster does. Okay, so he gives the boys to the wood. And I hate you guys. Everybody knows, though. That's the part that Jon, you know, like all the Rangers know. Lord Mormont knows, but they need Craster. So they don't judge, which is, well, they judge, but they don't do anything about it.
But how are they not weirded out by the whole idea of there being gods or something moving and interacting with humans?
Well, I think when Mormont says he gives them to the woods, he means he gives them to the animals. He puts them out there, they freeze to death, the animals take them off. I think it's like a double meaning. Like Mormont means one thing, read into it though. You know what I mean?
So you think that they don't know what he's really doing?
I don't think they all want to believe that he's giving it to the actual gods. When they say they believe it's a sacrifice, he puts it out to the woods, and then whatever takes that baby. And most likely they want to believe it's an animal or the cold, and it just gets, it disappears. I don't think they want to believe it's actually a White Walker, but I think they're starting to realize that. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I don't know which is worse.
I need to read more.
It's so crazy.
I don't know which is worse. Either thinking that he's just killing his sons, just killing them, or that he's giving them to these things.
Oh, that would be worse. That would be worse. What do you think, Lady Tauriel? What do you think? Because I know you always have some great thoughts on this stuff.
Well, I think, like you said, it has a double meaning. He does it as supposedly, quote unquote, a sacrifice to the gods, but it's a sacrifice to keep himself and his people safe. And he has, like they said, they ran out of sheep. If you remember the phrasing, there's no sheep,
right?
And there's no boys. It's interesting that they never take the women,
right?
But is that why he keeps the daughters and marries them? Because he has to keep giving them something, and if he has no males,
Right.
what will be next. He's the only male left.
Right.
Also,
Oh, very good.
it sounds they mentioned that the cold fog basically arrives more often now, meaning they want more babies.
Right, they're coming more and more.
Yeah, because they're building up an army, I think.
Well, right, and Teresa, or I'm sorry, Lady Tauriel, I like what you're saying there. I almost think he married. Okay, so he doesn't just sleep with his daughters and have kids. He marries them. So what does somebody do with the old gods? They marry in front of a weirwood tree. Can they not? Is that a covenant that the White Walkers can't break? They can't take them because they were married in front of the weirwood tree. I wonder if that has something to do why he won't give up the daughters, because they were married in front of the gods.
See,
Yeah, it's like he has a deal with them.
Yep.
But see, I was thinking maybe they can't they can't independently reproduce.
I agree with that.
And so he needs at least one male to keep
know why?
all the women
You
to
know
keep
why?
having children.
Oh God, here he goes.
Because the others have frozen sperm.
I was gonna say blue ball.
no.
I thought you were gonna say blue balls.
No.
No, that's something completely different.
Yeah, I know.
But that would explain why he's not why they aren't taking the women, because they can't use them for anything.
Well, I do have one question though. There was
darn it.
in the ancient times, there was a female White Walker that married the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
But maybe those are all gone.
Or are they?
Oh my God. Now you're getting into it too. Now we know what Caster does.
You learned your lesson, dude. Never talk about your private parts on the live stream.
Literally.
We'll hear.
Literally.
That's how you hit on a female White Walker, though. You walk up to her and say, "Do you want to build a snowman?"
Do you want to build a snowman? Oh God, now Disney's gonna claim this. Yeah, I don't know. Oh God, man, this is just one of those chapters where I feel like there's double meaning to everything, and a lot of us have read this book so many times that we just assume. But I really think Mormont, when he says "give to the trees," means giving it to nature. You know what I mean? Even though they've seen the whites, I don't think he believes completely yet. I don't know. What do you think, Lady Tauriel? I don't know.
If you remember going into, oh Lordy, I'm trying to remember if it's in this book or the next one, and I don't want to say the tree with the big mouth.
Yes, yeah, that over the we're talking about, or over the village, the one with the big mouth.
Yeah,
like,
that was in a previous chapter.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm safe to talk about that. So
yes,
it could have a double meaning, because you don't know if certain things are there
right,
because of what's going to happen later, or if they are gifts to feed the trees.
Oh my God, yeah. I didn't even think of that.
Oh.
Like literally giving it to the tree. That's what Mormont must think he does. Oh,
interesting.
crap.
Yeah, because they did find human bones inside that tree.
Right.
Oh,
nice pickup, Lady Tauriel. I didn't even think of that. I assumed he just they thought he laid it out in the snow. He literally could feed it to a tree.
Yeah.
watch out for that tree.
And the tree seems to like blood.
So he's thinking it's an old tradition that he's engaging in.
Yes.
And you must remember the leaves are red.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
So he's fueling the machine,
Yeah.
basically.
Mhm.
That would be messed up.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
and George Martin does get a bit scientific when it comes to magic and stuff, because it has to kind of make sense,
Yes.
you know. And
The sci-fi in him. It's the sci-fi
yeah,
writer.
and yeah, this is how you do a good magic system as well. You have it make sense,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And that's blood magic. Think
mhm.
about it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Only death may pay for life,
Ooh.
and maybe that's
Mhm.
what's given the White Walker's life again.
Right. Well, don't forget these again. The weirwood trees to me look like they're dead. They don't. They grow. They do grow, but they very slowly. It's the blood that gives them life. You know, that's what I believe. So, they don't drink of water. They don't. It's the sacrifice that gives them life.
And think of Westeros, okay? What does war bring?
Blood.
Death. Yeah. Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what feeds the earth after a war?
blood.
Blood.
Also, maybe Craster is from a certain bloodline.
That's what I was wondering.
Ooh, which one?
No
Stark?
spoilers now, Teresa. No
Oh,
spoilers.
okay. So if it's a spoiler, then I won't.
This is speculation because I don't remember. I don't know. No.
Well,
Yeah, go
there's
ahead.
this theory about Garth Greenhand, who was,
Mhm.
by all intents and purposes, a god back in the day.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
that's what I think King's blood is. Someone descended of him, and the Starks have a lot of that blood.
Right. First Men, Garth, because his son, one of his sons is believed to be the proto Stark, you know, like the
Yeah.
original of House Stark. You're right.
Yeah, it's
Most of the
House-
main families, right, of the old gods
House-
or
House-
First Men.
House Stark and House Gardner, I think it was.
Yes.
And House Dane, I think, has a lot of the Gardner blood.
Ooh.
So Stark,
Joachim. Sorry
Oh,
about
yeah.
that, buddy.
yeah. So Gardner plus Stark would be the best mix.
Yep.
That would make him kind of a pure blood. So if
To connect with the old gods.
so if John was the son of a Stark and a Dane, that would be good.
Yeah. Real quick, Shane, I don't know if it's Broken Blade or Bloody Blade. Brandon of the Bloody Blade, I think, or the red something. I know who you're talking about. It's his son, though. Yeah. God, man.
Everyone Google.
Yeah, right. So Generation Productions, so if you've never read A Song of Ice and Fire, nothing like a never ending story, less magic. Well, no, more like a Lord of the Rings, but George R. R. Martin dives more into the politics of the world than what Tolkien would have. Maybe that's the best way to put it.
It's like Deadwood plus the Tudors plus horror stories.
Right. I know we got to get going. Oh, go ahead, please, Teresa. Or not Teresa. Lady Tauriel, excuse me.
The Tudors is a horror story.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I know Stig's got to get going. We have run way longer than usual. So, does anybody have any last words on this one?
Well, you guys can still continue without me, though.
I know it's getting almost 10 o'clock here. I got to get up early as hell for work. So, I could sit here and talk about this for another hour, though.
Maybe it's
And I
something we
have to
can
go
do for
get
a.
dressed for work.
Yeah,
we
right.
Can do a, we could do a theory stream about it.
Yeah.
You
I'd
could
like to. We could talk more about it and spoilerly about it. Is that a word?
Yeah. Spoilerish.
Spoilish.
Spoilerish, or actually, you can just
Is
go
that it?
full on spoil for a theory show.
There we go, Teresa. I agree.
Spoiler done.
Spoilers.
All right, let's close it out. We'll do our outros real quick. Jayne, thank you for being here. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me here on YouTube, where I post movie and television reviews and pop culture commentary. You can also follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Jayne Theory. Yay!
Thank you, Jayne. Wow, you're related to Anne Boleyn. That's
he must
And
be-
they survived.
yeah, I was
be-
about to say.
So he must be black.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yes. Race swap. Lady Tauriel, where can they find you?
You can find me here off and on when I can be awake enough to make it to these. Also on my channel, Lady Tauriel, and on Twitter at Lady Tauriel1. And I think that's about it.
All right. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad it worked out. Teresa?
You can find me here on Miss Martin Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. My latest one, of course, is chocolate, so it makes me very happy.
Oh, I watched that. That was great.
Is she
Uh-huh.
talking about coffee again?
Chocolate.
Chocolates.
Chocolat.
Stig, tell us about your illustrious channel that you love to tell everybody about.
Well, I've been neglecting it for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Because truly, I give no shit about that channel. But sometimes I put something up on it. Usually some humorous stuff. Other than that, I'm here on Mondays when I'm awake.
Mhm.
And on Thursdays, I'm doing Star Wars lore stuff with OG Star Wars.
Yay.
We're going through some of the original comics. And it's been a blast. And we have many, many comics to go. So if you want to hear about the old canon, then swing by and keep us company.
Yes. Tell OG we said hello. She's an awesome person. I
Oh, she's
love
cool.
her. She really is. She's really cool. Thank you everybody for coming out tonight. That was a lot of fun. That was a good time. I like to specially thank Tina Bojan, Who Knew, Jack D, and Toxic Man Flu for being Littlefinger supporters, members of the channel, and for all my other members. This is for you. Let's put a spork in it. We are done. Good night, everybody.